Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, sports fans from all across the globe. This is East Coast Sports Investors Closing Bell, and I am your Monday afternoon solo host today, riding solo on this fine Closing Bell Monday afternoon. Thank you all for stopping by. We've got probably a pretty quick show, as I obviously always say on these short and sweet ones, but not a huge MLB slate tonight, so we'll breeze through that pretty quick. But obviously, the big ticket item, game number 5 of the NBA Finals, Denver Nuggets up 3-1. Getting through talking about that, whether or not we think it's going to go number 6 or if tonight is the final nail in the coffin for the Miami Heat and we're crowning a new champion. We will get into that in a minute. Seeing some interesting movement on that, money movement and line movement on that already as after opening on that one. So talking about that in a second. Evening, Connor. Thank you for stopping by. And then obviously, not a handful, not too many, about a half MLB slate that we'll talk about. A couple of lopsided ones that we'll probably breeze through pretty quick. And then we will get up and out of here. Tomorrow night, NHL game 5 as well, I believe. I believe that one's also 3-1, right? Yeah, game 5 of that one tomorrow night. I believe Jeff and I will be here talking about that one. He will, I am obviously, as I always say, not the NHL guy, so not going to get too much of a prediction out of me on that one necessarily, but glad to have everyone back this week. We've got that going on Tuesday. If the NBA Finals does continue, we'll have that back on Thursday. And as far as the rest of the week is concerned, I don't know as far as guests lined up what we've got going on this week. I know obviously Jeff always has fantastic guests, but we've obviously got the U.S. Open coming in on Thursday, so I will be ready to rock and roll for that come Thursday. I know we've got college baseball heating up as well. I've been enjoying that as a fan with my popcorn this last couple of weeks, and I'm going to continue enjoying it even tonight. Obviously, we've got a couple of huge games, elimination games to get into the final dance there. But Jeff obviously has more thoughts on that, and he's got some guests that typically do as well. So as that heats up, we will keep everyone updated on that as well. If you missed it, I didn't get a chance to watch too much of UFC event this past weekend. Had the nice odds upset at the very least. Charles Oliveira getting the win there, and then Amanda Nunes unanimous decision over Aldana. And as far as the RBC Canadian Open, I assume you saw the fireworks. Nick Taylor, first Canadian to win that event in 70 years, 60, 70 years, whatever the heck it is, with a 70-foot bomb. So that one obviously was exciting. Tough that everyone's favorite Tommy Fleetwood had to go up against a native trying to get the win in his home turf. Otherwise, I'm sure plenty more people would have been rooting Tommy on there. But he gets a nice weekend out of it himself, Tommy Fleetwood there. But we've got the U.S. Open coming down the pipe this weekend. Matt Fitzpatrick defending champ, but this time going out to L.A., Los Angeles Country Club for that one. So as the week moves along, we'll have some thoughts there as well. But without further ado, let's switch on over to tonight's action in the NBA. Game 5 of the NBA Finals. 8.5-point favorites are the Denver Nuggets as of right now, down from open at 9 here at home in Denver. Total 209.5, 210. Following I believe we've got, 3 out of 4 unders so far in this series here, with the only over being 219 finishing total on 216.5. Total continued to drop throughout the series. This is the lowest one that we've seen. Last time around, 203 was the final, 108.95, and now we're still sitting at 209.5, 210. So I'm thinking we're, as far as that total is concerned, I think we could have a little bit of the, little closer to what the original projections were. Even after, game 1 goes flying under at 218.5 closing. Next game still 216.5, and obviously that one ends up going over. But even in then you adjust a little bit down to 213. Game ends at 205. Still only adjust a little bit down to 211.5, and now we're still 203 in that last game, and now we're still only at 210. even 209.5. So I actually probably will be playing the over in tonight's game. I think one of these teams is going to have a better offensive performance. Maybe both these teams better offensive performance. You got to have, obviously, if the Heat want to continue their season, they're going to have to, at the very least, break 100. Their one win, they put up 111. Their 3 losses, 93, 94, and 95 points scored. So they obviously need to pour the ball in the basket a little bit more, closer to that 110 range for their own well-being in this game. And then, even if they don't, if they are doing what they did to themselves previously, it would not surprise me if the Denver Nuggets are also flipping the script and having a better offensive night. So I'm going to lean towards Miami having a better offensive night. Honestly, actually, I'm leaning towards both of these teams having a better, more efficient offensive night. Particularly Miami, as far as even going over 100.5 is their team total. I think you could absolutely see them cracking 100 easy tonight. So that's where I'm at. As far as the spread, I don't want to lean towards Miami. I think it's going to be kind of right around that spread is where I'm predicting. I'm kind of indifferent on this one tonight. If you want to tell me that the Heat are going to be resilient and Custer's last stand, as Jeff likes to say typically, I can absolutely see it. I'm not going to stop you if you've had success with them in past rounds here or in must-win situations over even the past multiple years, and you want to play that angle again here today, then by all means. I'm a little hesitant to say Denver's going to run away with this one tonight. So at the end of the day, I'm kind of closer to a really just this one finishing right around that spread. It wouldn't surprise me if Miami wins it, but I am leaning towards Denver closing this one out. Gun to my head, I'll say Miami finds a way to cover this one, but if we're seeing a 115 to 105 finish or 106 finish or something like that, that's kind of where I'm leaning towards on this one. So I am going to go with the over, going to go with Miami's team total over as well, and then I'm kind of leaning towards Denver closing this one out, but really no confidence whatsoever in the spread. I'm seeing the public slight consensus to Miami covering this game at the very least. I think a lot of people believe in this Heat team to kind of have that last stand that I'm talking about here. So I'm not saying that's impossible. I'm not definitely saying it's going to happen, and I'm not definitely saying Denver's going to win this game by 20. But I do think Denver does find a way to finish this one out. They, unlike some of these other teams that Miami has faced, they appear to have that chip on their shoulder. And I think if you heard Malone talking about it, he's trying to tell his team to have the approach that they're down 3-1 and have that type of resiliency as opposed to the closeout. Obviously using that to, finish the closeout as opposed to kind of the ho-hum, just do what you got to do type approach. So I think that's a fair thought by him. And at the end of the day, could we see a Game 6 and we go back to Miami? Absolutely. But I think Denver's going to have some sense of urgency to get things done tonight. And I was talking about it, I think, on last show. You still really haven't. I know the pace of these games have been a lot slower, but you still haven't seen that offensive outburst from Denver that we've seen mostly at home, but even just in general in this series. And so, while obviously a lot of that is because of the pace, and you had the triple-double from Jokic with the monster performance from Murray in the same game. But at the end of the day, it wouldn't shock me if we're seeing 115 plus from Denver in this game on their side of things for their biggest outpouring of the series. So that is where I am leaning with that one. Would be happy to hear anyone's thoughts on this one. If they're disagreeing with me, agreeing with me. Again, if you've got a strong thought on this one, I am not going to stop you. But I am leaning further towards the over in Miami's team total over more than anything else in this game here from a betting angle tonight. So we will see tomorrow what the verdict is, if we've got some more basketball left in us in the NBA, or if we are turning our attention to the NBA draft and whatever else is ahead of us in the drama-filled offseason that always is in the NBA. So moving over to the MLB, I mentioned we've got, let me count it out, 8 games tonight, so about a half of a slate. Couple two or three big favorites tonight that we'll talk about, but mostly breeze past here. Hour and a half away is the first game up here, Atlanta and Detroit. This is one of the big favorites tonight. Charlie Morton versus Englert for Detroit. Not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Don't know a ton about Mason Englert in his own right there. 23-year-old for Detroit. This is his rookie season, and this will be so far he's been mostly out of the bullpen, if not entirely out of the bullpen here. I don't think he has any official starts. So I honestly don't know if this is an intended bullpen start or if this is his first, kind of handing the keys out of the rotation there. Has not pitched. He pitched a couple days ago, pitched an inning, so I'm thinking we're seeing 2-3 innings max. Yeah, I typically don't like to get into those type of starts here. Look at Charlie Morton on the other side of it, though. 4 2/3 last time out, 4 hits, 4 earned run, couple bombs, 4 walks, 5 strikeouts against the Mets. He's been kind of honestly fairly steady, nothing horrific, nothing amazing. Hasn't had a great start here in a little while. So I'm at the end of the day with Charlie Morton. I'm not trying to pay the tax. You minus 140 on the run line here for the Braves. First 5, you'd have to go minus 1.5 to get anything sort of plus money. And we're not really not really having any feel for what we're going to see from Detroit's pitching staff. You've got a Detroit team that's been losing their pants off right now. So I'm at 9 in a row, not really trying to get in front of that train. So this would be, if there's any game to stay as far away from as possible, by all means, I think this would be the one to stay away from tonight. Game number 2, one of the other, there's 3 big favorites tonight, or fairly big favorites, at least minus 200 is what I'm talking about with big favorites. But Boston hosting Colorado is one of these other favorites here. 215 Boston has the money line, 9.5 total. And minus 115 on the run line for Boston at home with Paxton on the mound against Seabold. And if you're telling me that Boston's going to run Seabold for 6 runs in the first 5 innings, not going to surprise me at all. However, as far as being aware of a certain situation and pump the brakes on one of these favorites, I'm not telling you to run that to the window on Colorado necessarily. We talk about how profitable and how successful this situation is. But I really don't know what to expect out of Seabold in this Rockies offense tonight. What I'm talking about, though, is the Sunday night baseball game into the Monday, into that team, one of those teams playing on Monday. Boston, the road team last night on Sunday Night Baseball in New York, travels home. So not a far travel, but these situations, it was a 10-inning game to add a little more fuel to it. So it is a little bit, it's just one of these situations that Jeff and I always talk about as far as the Sunday Night Baseball game, the team that has to travel being a team that you want. It's almost an auto fade. In this case, it does seem a little goofy. I'm not saying I'm a little hesitant on fading them today and taking the Rockies. I mean, shoot, you can get the Rockies plus 1.5 on the run line at plus money potentially. So I am not saying to do that. But absolutely beware, and buyer beware on the Boston Red Sox for that fact today. Just for that system play, 100%, honestly. But as far as the Rockies, they just ended, what was their losing streak? Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 game losing streak and just won yesterday. So another thing, I don't know if that's long enough to fall into that rule of wait for a team to end their losing streak and they'll win that second game in a row. I don't know if this fits into that as well. But absolutely beware of the Boston Red Sox today. The odds don't necessarily suggest that something funky is going on. Maybe that's by design. I don't know. But definitely buyer beware of the Boston Red Sox today. San Francisco and St. Louis is game number 3 tonight. Logan Webb and I actually don't know how to pronounce Laborator. I've never gotten official pronunciation. I just kind of go on off on a whim on that one. But Logan Webb, 4-6 record, but he has been really good this season for the most part. Has been going deep into games, and that's been helping his ERA numbers. Was fantastic in the month of May. These last 2 here in June, a little bit of regression, but still not terrible. 7 innings, 4 hits, 3 earned runs, very solid, and then even more regression, 5 1/3, 8 hits, 4 earned runs. Against Colorado last time out, he is facing St. Louis, who obviously has been all over the place, had some momentum, and has since lost it all entirely once again. Liberator, on the other hand, this is start number 5 for him. Has been a little hit or miss so far. So this is another one that I'm for the most part, I'm staying away. It does. It would not surprise me if St. Louis, after what they've been doing, is due for a bounce back. Would not be surprising to me at all. At the end of the day, I'm almost leaning towards a lower scoring affair. Total of 8 on this one. I'm kind of leaning towards the under on this one. would be where I'm leaning with the Giants and Cardinals, but still nothing super aggressive. Giants traveling from being at home against the Cubs over to the Midwest to St. Louis. St. Louis just lost 2 out of 3 to Cincinnati at home. Probably going to have a little sense of urgency in this one. Should have a little sense of urgency in this one. So I'll lean towards the Cardinals and the under in this one. Let's see. Angels and Texas. Texas Rangers in this next one. Tyler Anderson, and Dane Dunning. Dane Dunning has been actually pretty solid for Texas. I believe I can't remember if it was last time or the time before, predicted a little regression from Dane Dunning. I think it was last time, but they ended up getting some run support for him. So if I mentioned I was interested in fading Texas, that obviously didn't come to fruition. Dane Dunning did give up 4 earned runs last time out, though, on 5 2/3 innings, 7 hits, 3 bombs allowed, 2 walks, only 1 strikeout. Tyler Anderson, on the other case, is one where one of the more hit or miss pitchers that we've got right now. Last 2 times out, 6 earned and 4 earned runs against both Chicago teams, coincidentally there. But in this case, I would kind of lean towards some regression from Dane Dunning as well. But much like last time, where that did come to fruition, that the Texas Rangers still put up some runs for him and still won the game. Would not shock me at all. This would be one where I'm a little interested in either one of these team totals. I could see either one. I'd be interested in the Angels team totals. Even a popcorn, just over 9.5, 10 runs total in this game. I could see both these teams lighten it up a little bit. The Angels have been playing good ball, traveling from home. Texas traveling from Tampa back home to Texas, just lost 3 out of their last 4. Defense didn't really hold up against Tampa there, so there should be some sense of urgency. I'll lean towards the Angels putting up a few runs on Dane Dunning here. I might even be most interested in an over if it's over 2.5 in the first 5 for the Angels tonight. Let me double check here. Yeah, over 2.5 in the first 5 is where I'm going to lean. I could see Dane Dunning giving up at least 3 in the first 5 innings. So that's where I'm going to lean. Let's see, a few more left. Cincinnati and Kansas City. This pitching matchup, I'm a little off on here. Kansas City still 18-47. Don't think they. I think they've got 6 losses in a row. 3 at Miami, 3 at Baltimore. Pitching has been ugly. Zach Greinke hit some regression last time out. I think we predicted that correctly, or may have been, if not correctly, we're at least saying beware of some regression. He had 5 earned runs last time out, 4 hits, no walks, 3 Ks. Would not surprise me if he's due for some more again here today. Luke Weaver, on the other hand, for Cincinnati, just gave up 7 runs in his last time out. So he has been very hit or miss. I could see him giving up a couple in a row there. This one is another one that's definitely beware of either side. There's some mind games going on here. You get, obviously, the fact that you can get Cincinnati minus 104 up against an 18-win Kansas City team is a little scary to me. If I'm being honest, I would beware of Cincinnati there. And quite frankly, Kansas City team total is not a crazy look to me at all. I could see their offense putting up a handful on Luke Weaver there. But at the end of the day, what you get out of Cincinnati's offense against Kansas City, I think, is a giant question mark there. Not trying to get in front of that losing streak that they got going on and trying to predict that. I think some of the odds is kind of just they're due to win a game at some point. Does that mean they're going to win? Not necessarily. I could see them putting up some runs tonight, but wouldn't surprise me if they put up 6 in the first 5 and Zach Greinke gives up 8 in 4 innings or something like that. So I'll lean towards Kansas City putting up some runs, but you could see anything out of that one there. Oakland's kind of catching up to Kansas City. Speaking of, Jeff and I were talking about those two teams, and Oakland actually is 5 in a row or 6 in a row that they've won in a row? It is 5 in a row they've won. Just swept Milwaukee in Milwaukee, and now they're heading back home to face Tampa Bay, who's obviously playing fantastic. So my advice would be to just not touch this game at all. You got Caprillion on the mound for Oakland, who at some point he probably is due for some positive outing. He has been, which actually last time out, I should say, was fairly positive. 6 innings, 4 hits, 2 runs total, only one of them earned. 5 walks, 1 K. So it's a giant question mark what you're going to get out of Caprillion there. And then Eflin, on the other hand, for Tampa, has obviously been pretty good. 0 earned runs last time out. So this is definitely, along with Detroit and Atlanta being a stay away, definitely don't get involved in Tampa Bay and Oakland tonight as far as that game is concerned. So 2 more, and then we'll get out of here. Philly and Arizona. Strahm versus Henry. These two pitchers, I don't have the best feel for these two guys. These are two that I'm still trying to piece together a little bit. Henry regressed a little bit last time after some really good outings. 4 1/3, 5 hits, 5 earned runs last time out. Matt Strahm, a little bit more of a bullpen pitcher. Or this is going to be a bullpen outing for Philly. So in that case, I'm mostly not trying to get involved in those type of starts, as I typically say, and that's just a personal philosophy there. Both these teams are starting to play a lot better here. Arizona is playing really well, and Philly's starting to play better. 7-3 in their last 10. Arizona's got 5 in a row here, so I guess I'll lean towards the Phillies in this one, with this one being close to a pick-em for Arizona at home here. But at the end of the day, I'm not touching that one. Not trying to get into a bullpen start there. And then as far as this last one is concerned, not quite the same, not at all the same scenario as the team traveling, but Miami just takes 2 out of 3 against the White Sox with some late heroics in both times, stealing 9th-inning wins in both of those cases. Now traveling all the way West Coast after that. Luzardo on the mound, who I'm a big fan of, but 7 innings, 2 hits, 1 earned run last time out, no walks, 8 Ks. 8 strikeouts the time before that. Give up some runs the time before that, but still not bad. He could be due for some regression here. Who, like I said, I'm a big fan of him, but I think he could be due for some regression. Bryce Miller, his last 2 have been 8 earned runs allowed and 7 earned runs allowed in his last 2. After a really good stretch to start his career, his 24-year-old debut season. So I think you'll see a bounce back from Miller. They are the favorites in this one, and I think you could see some regression from Luzardo. The 7.5 total kind of suggests that Miller isn't going to give up 7-8 runs, which would put him at 7.5 runs over his last 2 by himself. So I'm going to lean on Miller being a lot better tonight. Maybe Luzardo is good, and I'm wrong about him regressing, but I'll go with Miller being a lot better tonight. I'll lean towards Mariners' first 5 as being the play that I like a little bit more there. And I might actually play that myself. I'll lean towards Seattle getting the win there, but I definitely prefer the first 5 for Seattle tonight, and think they could. I think they got a great chance of winning that one. Hopefully, it's not me being better about the White Sox losing to the Marlins, but at the end of the day, I don't think so, because I've got the Marlins as one of my teams with the future on them. So, as much as that hurt over the weekend, I've got a 1 win closer to 77 wins for the Miami Marlins for me. So I do think the Seattle Mariners get one back tonight, and certainly get one back in the first 5 there, though. So that, along with actually, that is the play that I like the most out of the baseball slate today. And then just a couple of buyer bewares, I guess, is the other ones to look for there. So without further ado, go back to the start of the show, or earlier around 10-15 minutes ago, to get some thoughts on Game 5 of the NBA Finals. But aside from that, we shall be back about 24 hours from now for Tuesday's Closing Bell, talking NHL and a bigger slate of MLB baseball, as well as the rest of the week talking U.S. Open. Potentially talking, I don't know that I can give some expertise, but I'm interested in talking about college baseball because I've had a blast watching it. I don't know who's who as far as, what teams are worth anything. I'm 100% a fan, popcorn, but would love to hear some thoughts from some educated people. So if I have the opportunity to bring up some questions to anyone, then I certainly will myself. But nonetheless, I'm sure you'll see anybody talking about that here on these shows. So stay tuned the rest of the week. Thank you, anybody, for stopping by. Thank you, Connor, for popping in the comments, as always. And without further ado, as a fan, hopefully we get some more NBA action after tonight. But I don't know. We could be crowning a new first-time NBA champion tonight, and first-time MVP who doesn't have a championship in Jokic as well. So obviously everyone will be watching that tonight. So best of luck if you got some entertainment action on that. If you've got any serious action on that, best of luck. I think I'm going to dip my toes into something as far as a straight play that I like, and maybe a little entertainment on the side there. So best of luck. Thank you all for stopping by. I will see y'all tomorrow, and hope y'all have a good rest of your evening. Thank you.